They were talking about. Did you hear? What was it about?
No, no, I didn't.
Wash did something, which was a tweet, which was, it was about your favorite guy, Andrew Tate,
Oh, okay, yeah.
your
My
role
favorite
model.
guy. Well, don't say that. I don't like Andrew Tate.
You shared the video of him with me once. Your favorite guy. Your main man. But he's been, he was arrested in Romania,
Yeah,
by the
I
way,
know.
for
It's so keeping a low profile
him.
now on this
Oh,
island myself. In prison.
you haven't been come here, you haven't been building a harem again, have you? Oh god. But anyways, and then Wash tweeted something to say like the left. I don't. The whole discussion goes into the fact that, man, it's quite funny. I really look. You see it?
Yeah.
Getting the feeling some leftists are actually okay with the increasing popularity of incel neo-chauvinist ideas because it confirms their pre-existing bias against men. And then they get into a whole fucking. They talk for 1 hour and a half. Unbelievable. 1 hour and a half, these two. They talk about, yeah, there is not enough role models
Oh,
for men, for leftists. They see YouTube as be like they're basically going back to their usual fucking grievance, which nobody takes. I don't know what they want, like, from us. Like, nobody takes YouTube. They think YouTube is below them. No, YouTube is important. We have to discuss role modeling. There has to be somebody like the older people are fail. I just like, I don't know. I don't recall when I was a teenager this need for.
yeah.
I mean, I did
I
want
mean,
a role, but I had one like Batman again. I go back to Batman again as a teenager. Pretty good role
yeah.
model.
I mean,
Like,
listen, of course, if you see, like, I mean, there's some truth in everything, but they just take this role model thing so far,
yeah, it
you know? Of
takes.
course, I mean, if
And
you
young
see
men
some
are
good
going
examples
astray.
around you, that's good,
And
but you
Kyle,
also don't
motherfucking
need.
Kyle Kalinske started this by going. I remember, even like back in the days, I remember liking his show, but always this weirded me out that he goes, I do this show because one young man who's about to like go down a right wing, blah, 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 rabbit hole. And he sees a video and he's like, Kyle, thank you that you did. And that really makes my heart warm. Like, I mean, Jesus, these people are really like, and these two are like, yeah, man, I wish there was more leftists trying to guide people to a leftist.
Hey, I'm trying to guide
I,
people. Nobody just wants to follow me. So that's
yeah, me too. And guide guide people to donate their money to. The problem is, man, you have to play this fucking game. You have to confirm their biases. You can't just, say, give me your money. If you do that, they don't give you their money. It's really annoying. Fucking hell. Anyway, but it was so funny, man. They spent 1 hour and a half just talking about role models, and Zach was like, "Yeah, there is no. What did he say? Fuck, I forget. But yeah, it's just like Joe Rogan. He was perfect. He had the right level of fame, but he was also saying these things. Anyway,
I told you people
then
also
Joe
look for
Rogan.
role models in sports, like same thing. And I always
Yeah,
say this,
yeah,
I
it's so
was so
annoying.
dumb as a kid,
So annoying.
but I never thought for a minute that this
Yeah,
person who's a good football player, I should also follow them in X, Y, or Z. And I was so dumb. So I just have
thank
some
you,
hope that other people also don't look at things that way. But hey, maybe I
man.
wasn't
That's
as dumb as
always
I
been
thought.
like. This psycho have lost. What happened? You sent me this. What happened here?
I don't know, man. He's always talking about what's it called? His favorite about drag queens and like how conservatives and Republicans. Like, I mean, Cenk Uygur has. I mean, he's just all he does is this stupid generalization of like right wingers and Republicans. It's always like the right
Tim.
wing always says this, but they never think that. And these are just series of tweets by him where he's like trying to like he talking about drag queen and all this. And
It's
look at
it
it's just
seems
so
like a man's psychotic,
he
like
is, man.
rambling. Seriously, just some of it really. Like the first one, people can. It's just so stupid. I don't. But the second one is stupid and funny. Have I seen drag shows that were too sexually explicit for children? Yes. So I didn't take my children. Problem solved. And I didn't even have to create a giant witch hunt against the LGBTQ community like those mouth breathers in Florida. I mean, you do realize like everybody's line is different on the whole sexually. It's just and then anyway. I mean, I have to agree though. Florida people are mouth breathers, from what I understand. I'm joking.
But no.
This one was the stupidest. This one by far was the stupidest. If the Young Turks had more money now, I would throw the biggest drag queen party of all time. Fuck all the haters. It's like,
Why would you do that? Who would
no,
that help?
yeah, and I'm pretty sure
and
drag queens don't want to see you. Like like you're embarrassment. I wouldn't.
And look at the
Anyways.
dumb fuck that he had interacted with below. I mean that
Oh,
guy
Tim
just.
Pool. Yeah, he
We
said it in
shouldn't
response to Tim
tolerate
Pool's
pedophiles
criticism.
grooming kids. Okay.
And Tim Pool, I'm guessing, referred to some like trans event or something.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not a big fan. I don't think people can change their gender, but at the same time, I don't think trans people are grooming children, or I don't think what is the other one? Uh, Grooming kid. What is the other threat? Oh, like they're sexually educating children into, you know,
Yeah.
that's all bullshit. Moral panic. That's all it is. But yeah. Oh, and this part. If you fuck with one of us, you fuck with all of us. So as a straight man, I'm here for the fight for all my brothers and sisters. Stop this brother and sister shit. Religious people do that too. No, don't. No. And fuck with again. That's, by the way, all of yeah. You remember I talked to Three Musketeers? That's like, one
Yeah.
for all and all for one. And
I'll move on from
this
this.
motherfucker is ruining everything for me. He's a psycho. Like he's a toxic masculine man.
He's a
I don't know
toxic
man,
person.
but he's a toxic person. Yes. Masculine, feminine, whatever. He's toxic. Neutral.
And you can really tell that when he was like a quote unquote right winger, I mean, it's really unfair to say that he was a right winger, to be honest. No, he was a garbage.
He was a toxic person back
yeah.
then.
He was just a different kind of toxic person. I mean, I think it's really unfair to blame his past on being right wing. I mean, honestly.
The only person that can really be blamed are his parents, to be honest. They did raise him. And even then, I'm like, come on, I understand. I've like, I've seen a lot of parents with awful kids. So, Christ, I have to play this a bit, but we're going to talk about Patrick Beta David Goran, as I already have named him. Did you see the nameplate there? Did you see what I did?
Patrick Beta David Goran, you said?
Goran, yeah. It's got sexual connotations. It's got historical stuff. It's got all kinds of puns. No, nothing. No. Beta, beta. I think it means weak, right? Beta, male.
Okay, yeah.
David Goran, the first founder of Israel, the first prime minister.
Okay.
I see him. Like he's an establishment figure. I am implying with that. So he seems to have been an Assyrian, Armenian, Iranian who had. This is according to everybody wiki. He didn't have real Wikipedia, so I had to go to here. Yeah. He's an entrepreneur, author, and a podcast host. So entrepreneur already charlatan. So he's already okay. He's the founder of PHP Agency Inc. PHP Agency. I don't know what agency, like what they did. They represented something, but anyways, his book, Your Next 5 Moves, Master the Art of Business Strategy. Just, charlatan. Anyway, then here, early life. Beta David Goran was born in Assyrian Armenian family at Tehran, Iran, and is the youngest of 2 children. His family war-torn Iran on July 15, 1989, and moved to refugee camp in Erlangen, Germany. I'm sure I'm mispronouncing that. Germany on November 28th, 1990. Beta David moved to Glendale, California. And California, see, I told you, he got too much New Jersey vibe in him. Anyway, he enlisted in blah, blah, blah. Oh my God, what? He enlisted in the 1st 101 Airborne Division of the U.S. Army before starting a career in financial services. Jesus Christ. I'm sorry, I hadn't read that part. I feel, oh my God. Oh, like, is there a lower human being than this asshole? Like, being part of military, being part of financial services and media, like, just, oh my God. Oh my God. But I mean, one thing I would say, this has nothing to do with him because he was young then. Or in 1989, the war, in July 1989, I don't know if the war was over or not, but I think it may have been. And even if it wasn't over, for the last 6 years of the war, Iran was on the attacking side. There was no war-torn Iran. Ooh, you fucking liars. These people, these type of people, his family and ilks of them, some of them my own family members, are the assholes that because of them right now, you have a lot of... they are one of the reasons why immigration policy is becoming more and more restrict for the people who actually need it. These fucking assholes in Iran would use their their minority status. They would use lies. They would say, "Oh, it's a war-torn country, Iran," and they, for example, they tear up their passport in the airplane. They burn it. Fucking parasites.
Yeah, I mean, to me, like, listen, if you want to leave, like, I mean, sure, do whatever you need to leave a country. Just
leave.
After
refugee, they're refugees.
Yeah, but
they were
after
refugees,
just
man.
don't like. But you know, the thing is, I swear, like, just because in people's minds in Iran, you know, Iran's not the greatest place to live, you can make any story of why you left, and like, you know, you can tell people, you know, I can start telling people I'm a refugee from Iran, and people will believe me. Like,
Sure.
Like,
But you know how easy, by the way, it was back then. You could, like, people, there was a lot of people, like, we talk about it more when he says everybody in Iran, as his backward family and him are everybody in Iran. But a lot of people made a conscious choice to immigrate, like, legally. A lot of them Armenians, Assyrians, Baha'i, people who are, you know, could have immigrated through refugee status, or, you know, that way gotten free money. This, by the way,
but
I'm
I
so
don't think
upset
he
because
moved. I don't think he got like refugee status and moved. They just, like, you know,
they
he
moved to a refugee camp in
camp. Yeah.
Erlangen, Germany.
Yeah. I
So
mean, I wouldn't take this
and
story.
Germany is a big one of the Germany, and Sweden was the big one for Iranians. Sweden one more. I mean, it depends. Like, he's like, I don't know, he's a specific case, but yeah, 1989. Yeah. Anyways, but this week, man, just this week, I saw this asshole Iranian guy who had come to visit his family. He lives in Norway. He had taken 7 years. He taken money from, this is before. Now he's doing, they changed the law. He was upset that they changed the law. But for 7 years, he would take money from Swedish government, and he would study Swedish. And he told me this, that I would fail the test because, you know, if I did pass the test, then they would say, you know, you need to get a job now and stuff. So I would fail it until,
What the fuck?
and then at the end, when they changed the law, yeah, it's just fucking, I don't know if that case is exactly similar to this, but all these, like, I don't know. Anyway, fucking hate these people. So let's play this sad part. It's such a sad video. It really destroyed my heart. I have this. Let me just check if I have this sound shared with you. I'm being way too harsh, I think, to be honest.
If America is so bad that some people sell it as being so bad, why do people keep coming here? What is so like? Okay, when we were in Iran, we had options. People were going into Spain.
By the way,
Some were going
these
to.
people do fucking realize that there are like more people are not going to US than people going to US.
And they go to a
Like
lot of the places. Yeah.
Like 7 billion people, if they were all going to the US, like no immigration policy would have. Like,
Yeah,
no,
and they
no
go to a
amount
lot
of
of other
wall.
places, but he's trying to make the argument that, but no, they come to capitalist America as if other countries are not like capitalist. I don't know what those other countries are. But I mean, but like, no, I mean, it's just he's
Spain,
just trying to make the
poorest
most
Spain.
usual argument.
Yeah. I'll play. Sorry, I got angry.
When we were in Iran, we had options. People were going into Spain. Some were going to Australia. Some were going to this. Only because they couldn't make it to America. But everybody's number one on the list was to come to America. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like they wanted to go anywhere else. Again, going back, that is my biggest argument. Where,
by the way, if I always like this with me because I'm in Iran doesn't give me some access to some secret knowledge about Iranians, right? Or because Kamir is got an Iranian background. So I hate this that like in America especially, it's enough for you to say that, when I was in, Japan or when I was in, Vietnam and the American guy is like, right. Yes. Yeah, I can't argue with that. Like a lot of times there are a lot of British people say stuff about Britain. They were born in Britain. They were raised in Britain. They're fucking wrong. I correct them. You don't have to just because somebody's from one country. He's got the secret knowledge of that country. I'm sorry. I do. Fucking dumbass.
If America is so bad, if capitalism is so bad and abusive, why do so many people who are actually leaving an abusive environment are willing to come to a place that offers capitalism, where a person who has not got the last name of Mitt Romney, his last name is Bet David, my parents haven't given me a penny. Last time I got an allowance, I was 14 years old. I'm not an allowance. I don't even know what allowance is, to be honest. I'm not even being sarcastic. I don't know what an allowance is, right?
Wait.
I think this is it. We don't have to watch past this. This first 30 seconds, no. I love it because it uses the most bullshit argument to say like, oh, America is capitalist. It's just the most common thing. Anybody who's watched this knows what we're talking about. And then secondly, his allowance thing is so random. It's so random. A 50-year-old man is like, I haven't gotten allowance since I was 14. Okay, that's like the least groundbreaking thing I've ever heard in my life. And then he goes on to say, I don't even know what allowance is, to try to make it.
So
like, literally, I'm not joking. Literally,
13 years of getting an allowance, just immediately contradicting.
Like
I don't know what it is. I never heard of it. Never. Like what? You just said you were getting allowance until you were the part about everybody was going, you fucking dumbass. No, first of all, a lot of people actually were not going to America. Were going to Europe because they knew about welfare states. It's not. It was very
And anyway, it's like this painting of America as capitalist and all that. I mean, all of this is a lie. I mean, nowhere is capitalist and non-capitalist. This grouping of countries, it doesn't make any sense. And of course, America is an extremely.
I mean, I know something. There is I would say if there is a kernel of that, rich wanted to go to US. Rich Iranians had business connections in US already, or they there would be less taxes on them going to US compared to Europe, for example. So you have a lot of Iranians. By the way, royal family themselves went to France. Just so everybody's clear.
And anyway, the US is a great place. Just because somebody points out a criticism or one or two things about it doesn't mean that it's like a bad place. I mean, Kyle makes that after and says that, he says, I never said America is horrible or anything like that. But I mean, he just,
By the way, but an American foreign policy is not the same as American suburbs. Like, you know, you know what I mean? It's just what are you talking about when you talk about America? You know, is America if America sucks?
So I mean, yeah, I mean, you're really just making arguments that you know you
no,
hear
man, I'm just
all the time.
upset that he's Iranian.
Summarize what the video is about. Although it starts pretty good in the way that they get in the topic, I think she was just making, Ashley was making the point. Her point was really about how much we're creatures of our environment and society, and people don't take that seriously enough, or don't.
That's that, and I think she went back to the topic that I 100% agree with her, which is the left's problem with growth and the left's problem with left. I mean, terms are being thrown around very loosely, so please calm down. But the problem with the like consumption, the idea that consumption itself is bad, and I mean, I would go far harsher than she does. I think in the failures of early 20th century and mid 20th century basically made left into a religion. You know, this religion of like nice, you know, being nice and doing nice things and, you know, wishing for nice things and all that, instead of focusing on how to achieve your political goals, something that I hope with Machiavelli we can focus on.
No, that's funny how you said that. That's what I was thinking. But yeah, man, and why have you ever seen her on any of the other channels? I mean, yeah, exactly, because she's
this
so
is
not
revolution.
Oh yeah, she's just so not dogmatic, you know, like the people that we're used to.
No.
You know, she has no problem pointing out, you know, shortcomings or discrepancies, of the left, or reverse the positive side of capitalism, or you know, the contrast and the contradictions. And all of these things, and she loves it. She's also very open about her students all the time. She's like, you know, just like my students, dumbasses. No, she doesn't. She doesn't say quite that,
no,
but I mean,
I'm sorry, but yeah, the way she, you know, I tell them don't do that, but they still do. No, they love them. But no, man, the difference here with all the other ones, I like, and I think I said this before we started watching Sublation Media. The other ones are obsessed with a morality play. They are waiting for, you know, rapture and Saint Peter to come and do a judgment, and they say, I did good, you know, I didn't do anything bad. And even Ben Burgess, by the way, and give them an argument, I would definitely put them in that basket. You know, all they want to do is a morality play, and I have, by the way, certain receipts to prove my point. So you know, with her, she's doing analysis. She knows her own fucking morality is her own morality. It has nothing to do with how real world works. You know, that's I think, I don't know. That's the vibe I get, you know, from, you know, Chris Catrone, her, Spencer Leonard, Pascal Robert, you know, he's not, he knows his morality. He's fine with his morality, right? He's not trying to figure out, he's not a 17-year-old trying to figure out, oh, racism bad or good. Oh, it's bad. You know, now he's figuring out how it is working in its way in society, not emotionally, you know, not in an emotional way. Oh, they're evil people, you know, like I mean, Douglas Lane and Sublation Media, and This Is Revolution. Although I would say Sublation Media is better, I think.
Because Sublation Media, I mean, you know, probably does some, you know, something that I guess we do a lot, but actually we do differently. I mean, This Is Revolution, it just has so much wasted time, and like the beginning is just so boring.
So many people,
you hate yourself. They're so to the point, you know, which I think that's one of the big differences, at least to me.
Yes. I would say that I still like her and Chris Catrone to me clarify what do they mean by capitalism. Like, because they still seem to refer to it as an entity, while I think it's better viewed as contradictory forces. But I would say, and in this video though, I kind of remembered why I kind of like the left, because there is a bit in here. Sorry, let me check where it is. Where this video, I think, reflects what I call, like, there is idealism even in Marx and Marxism, right? Oh, I'm not. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, sorry, I thought I'm blocked. Yeah. But I think like there is one type of idealism that I do think is good. And like look, I think you should be crazy to be honest, to hope for political change in the world, right? It's like like if you do like a rational calculation, it does not seem that likely to me anyway. So, but this is the type of idealism I can kind of go with. I think it was minute 37, but this was after they're talking about consumerism and whether consumerism is a bad thing and whether television is a new way of consumerism that is worse than media forms before. And they get here.
I wrote down a point here that I think, I'm sympathetic to that kind of pessimism, I think, in my darker moments. But I think it's actually very difficult to get people to act against their own interests.
Sorry,
and
it's
people
in
will...
minute 30. I just found it. But that's a good point too.
Yeah, that was a good point too.
People don't like left thinks she's responding to criticism. She's responding to the argument that TV and stuff is manipulating people, and she's saying no, it's not manipulating people. This is an argument many people on the left make. Basically, anybody who disagrees with Frankfurt and
of the demand to grow by growing the money supply. So we have to be specific by what we mean when we say growth. Like you have to say, okay, well, the growth of human power and understanding and ability is what we should be looking for, rather than the quantifiable growth that we can see in dollars.
No. I mean material growth. And it maybe, and it
well,
might,
look,
and it's certainly
but
something
dollars and cents is not material necessarily.
No, I'm not saying material growth in the sense of like print more money and have dollars and cents and do stock buybacks and all that kind of thing. I mean material growth in the sense of you promised us that capitalism was a superior system because it increased our living standards indefinitely. So give me that, please. And when you tell me, and that this
see, that's like the, I don't know if it's kind of like I don't know if you're familiar with the degrowth movement. And if you read their literature, it's kind of like the abolish the police movement. When you read their literature, it's like they don't want to abolish the police. They just want to have a different police.
Yeah.
Degrowth movement is the same. They don't want to degrowth. They just want to have a different type of growth, basically. So that's 100%. I would agree with that. But I would always add, we do need population control. Just saying. I'm just saying, you can't have unlimited population. Like there is a material, but this is what what I mean? Like this is what people should like. Yes, of course, growth. What do you mean? Like no, consume. Don't when you brush your teeth, close the water thingy because water. Did you know every minute 1 liter goes, while at the same time there is a bunch of like companies drilling into the ocean, like yeah. I really like that. I don't know what you thought of that.
Yeah, no, that was an interesting point by her, and I mean, but then again, I guess I would say like, I guess I'm one of the degrowth people. You can do more with what you have, but yeah. Or you can use...
but you would probably you would, I assume, be more of a I mean degrowth people, but they would argue for a growth in a different way. For example, let's say instead of economic growth in terms of finances, you spend the money in
exactly. Like instead of spending money in military, you spend it somewhere else. Yeah.
Oh, the military is, I mean, like keep the military just for now. Like America's specific problem is financialization to an extent, just the fact that everything is a financial activity rather than an actual. But that's the side. But I thought, that was very fantastically put, because I think most of the left that I know of, when you talk, like the way they come across as basically as these people who want us to I don't want to consume less. I want to consume more. And as I get older, I want to consume more and more. Increasingly, I've been wanting to consume young blood, but that's apparently illegal. But whatever. Anyways, now to this video
so
from
I
This
mean,
Is Revolution.
you told me that you wanted to talk about abortion, and then I asked you. You said in it they talk. Sorry, no, suicide, and you wanted to talk about suicide specifically. At one point,
that was in private.
So I asked
that was about my girlfriend. Why on the podcast? Why?
So I asked you to give me the timestamps, and I went and listened to the timestamps, but I think I still missed it. I don't know.
I gave you like
I swear to God, I still missed it. I don't know.
It starts with them. So in this one,
they want to kill myself.
Yeah, I have to say, man, like they talk about David Hume, two of David Hume's essays. The parts I want to focus on is David Hume on suicide, which is a famous essay by him. You can find it for free. It's pretty good. I would say it's still quite readable, even though it's from, I mean, maybe this is an updated version. I don't know. Maybe they update these things. I don't know. Anyways, but so it's Ben Burgis and Stefan Burton Lee. And before getting into suicide part, which I'm going to play their part, I think this is a reflection of their general thinking, but we get to suicide specifically, but general thinking as well, in regards to the argument I was making about the fact that they want to be good boys and good girls for St. Peter. So just before that, Ben Burgis, man, can't he say two sentences without having this self-affecting, like, just, oh my God, I was so, I know we diverge, you know, we talk shit, but at least we do it in segments. He's just constantly, every sentence is like, I don't know. I don't know. What did you? It's not the most annoying.
I know. I don't know what it is. It's that, and also he just tries to simplify things so much that it kind of becomes like too wishy-washy. I find that that's another thing that he does. Like he'll be like, you know, David Hume talks about this, and instead of saying what David Hume talks about, he'd be like, you know, it's kind of like, and then he kind of gives like this analogy where he like cracks up himself, where he kind of like mocks the situation himself, and I don't really get much of it. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, it reminds me of Marvel movies, man. You can't have one fucking serious moment not undercut by some stupid. Anyways, but yeah, let's go to the minute and second.
Let me see if I don't miss it now. No, I listened from the 37th till the 50th minute, and I still kind of.
Jesus Christ, 37:55 it starts.
Actually, I went from 35th minute until the 50th minute. I was okay. Let me make sure I get the context and the lead up to it and everything. But
this is ridiculous, man. This is ridiculous.
My brain refused. I don't know what to say.
You've been near the beach. Too many bananas. Too many bananas and avocados.
Which is something which really matters from kind of whose point of view it happens. And Hume kind of tries to talk about it from three different point of views, which is, well, mainly through God's point of view, but also kind of the point of view of the person who does it to themselves and to the perspective of others.
Yeah. So Hume, and one thing I should say that's interesting about both of these essays is that even though he does have, if you read the Dialogues Concerning Natural Religion, he does have this sort of general, you know, he does have some like pretty deep skepticism about whether anything like, you know, God as we would conceive it, whether there's like any good reason whatsoever to believe that sort of being exists. Never mind that he was, you know, going around revealing himself in burning bushes in the Middle East, you know, a few thousand years ago. And in But nevertheless, in both of these essays, he sort of bracketed off those doubts and being like, okay, whatever. Like, I'll give you, like, let's assume that this all works the way that you think it does, more or less, right? Even given that, would it make sense to think that that there's this heaven hell scheme for the afterlife, or that, does it make sense to think that we're sinning against God if we kill ourselves? And as you say, when he's sort of considering the idea that suicide would be really bad, his reasoning is more or less, okay, well, look, if you're doing something wrong when you kill yourself, it must be either that you're doing something wrong to other people, that you're doing something wrong to yourself, or that you're doing something wrong to God. And he kind of goes through them one at a time, and he thinks none of the above. Now, the place, I should say, where I expect most, look, if you're a deeply religious person, you probably disagree with him about the God part. But even if you're a 2023 secularist, you will definitely find stuff to disagree with in this essay. I mean, I do, not for any sort of, brilliantly original reason, but just because, like, I sort of have morally standard 2023 views on this. I think that, I think that, suicidally depressed people are, experiencing a psychiatric problem and will benefit from being helped in their interests to not do what they want to do right now, and all goes well. One hopes, we'll thank you later, right? For making sure that they didn't do it. I think it's good that if you're in an institution and you try to kill yourself, you're put on suicide watch. I think it's good if you're standing on the bridge, then they'll be cop trying to talk you down or whatever, right? I mean,
so that's
you see, that's why I missed it. I don't know. What was I supposed to retain there during those 2 minutes?
I would say that, like, I've been going on about suicide for a long time, but Hume, by the way, I like that Hume is still a fucking revolutionary after like 400 years, because still people are like, no, suicide, it's bad. We should have. They have found new excuses and a new religion called psychiatry that is built upon it, and he's like, no, you shouldn't kill yourself. I mean, look, some people. I don't know, man. Some people, whole of Iranian parliament, whole of American Congress kill themselves. A net benefit to them, to the world, to their families. So, I'm not, it's just, they're very, you see what I mean? They're so simplistic in their morality when it comes down to it. They're not, like, this is David Hume is from 400 years ago, and he's out revolutionizing. He has a more sort of who gives it, like, you should do what you want, basically, regarding suicide. But they want a state to intervene. Are you?
Yeah, I'm listening to you.
You agree with anything I say? No, I know you listen. I'm just saying, this is an example of just normie mentality. I think normal, like not normal, but not just moralistic.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I'm so nonchalant about it. I mean, that example that you gave, whatever, although I would disagree, like, their families probably wouldn't be better off. They would probably be very sad if, the person committed suicide.
So?
However, I think, people should be able to, although I wouldn't, like, be celebrating it, because, I mean,
Joe Manchin's family is gonna
forget about those people.
Let's forget. Joe.
I'm sure they like him, his family. But just a normal person, I wouldn't celebrate it. But because that means they're very unhappy to such a level that they wanted to commit suicide, although, that's what they wanted at some point.
No, that's a example that is not supposed to be, but I'm not going to make judgment. Like, man, I wonder, sometimes I really wonder, like, people who live in like abject poverty, a lot of them, I genuinely think they take their own lives out is much better than a few more years and then dying in suffering.
Yeah.
In a lot of places in Iran, in a lot, maybe not so much in Europe or America, but a lot of other places.
But I think just being in poverty probably doesn't make you suicidal. But
no, just poverty. No. Just imagine abject, like, as you know, there are so many cases we could discuss. my point being just the judgment, like, or the want to, like it's, who gives a shit if we should live in a society where there is no poverty, where, you know, everybody's got like their basic needs guaranteed. Then if somebody wants to commit suicide, they should go and commit suicide. You know what I mean? Like, who gives a shit? Like, this moral, like David Hume was writing this 400 years ago, because I think it's still illegal, probably. This, like, it's ridiculous. Like, who gives a shit?
Yeah, I don't know about who gives a shit also, but yeah, I see.
Like, it's a
I see what you
personal
mean, but
thing,
I mean,
man. It's a personal
again, I
thing.
didn't quite understand what they were saying. So, I mean,
Oh,
what was
they're
Ben
arguing.
Burgis's point?
Oh, he was saying that he disagrees on a moral ground with suicide, which
Okay, I
is
see.
because he believes there should be psychiatrists that
Yeah,
talk
but I mean,
people.
only
I mean, I
psychiatrists
believe
can
in
do
some
so
of
much. I
them.
mean, if a psychiatrist can literally convince someone to not commit suicide and then they're happy with the fact that they live, like, sure. I mean, neither good or bad. I mean, you know, but to me also, like, when someone dies, what is the worst thing about someone dying? It's literally the loved ones, right? Because when you're dead,
Yeah.
you're dead, right? At least if you don't believe in afterlife. So that is over. It's just the people who are left behind, they're the ones who really suffer if anything. So that's kind of the only bad thing. Like, for instance, when I'm on a plane, right? And the plane, I feel like there's like the mildest turbulence. I'm like, okay, that's it. That's it. I'm gonna die. The only thing that I think about is like, oh, like my parents, or like, oh, Marina, they'll suffer, right? Like, because me, I'll be dead. Who cares?
I mean, suffer is a strong word if you go, but no. By the way, I'm glad you didn't mention me. But it's adequate. You know. I agree, but again, it's a personal issue. It's not like it's not an issue a state should be or community should be involved with.
Yeah, I mean, people can advise and try to help you out if they want to, or they can.
Oh, if you
Sure.
if you ask for it,
Sure.
sure.
Yeah.
I just don't see because that's what David Hume was not writing just for the sake of writing. He was writing because it was illegal. So, you know, that's all I'm saying. It's, you know.
But Ben Burgis didn't make too many jokes there. He somehow managed to speak for almost 90 seconds without chuckling.
Oh, yeah.
However,
he did chuckle when he said,
he did use the word
God.
like a million times, though. I mean, I hope I don't use it that many times, but that's another issue he has.
You're right. It's got a Californian teenager sort of vibe.
Yeah.
Adds that vibe
because he just tries to explain everything in a different way. He doesn't want to explain it the way like you're supposed to explain it. He has to explain it in a different way. So of course, when you do that, you have to use the word like. That's how you begin those kind of sentences.
Yeah. Good point. I have to. Yeah, you're right. I mean, I feel like I was a bit too harsh maybe on their arguments against, but my point, I was trying to highlight mainly the point that they're more after morality rather than change. And I think this is a good segue to Niccolo Machiavelli, but I do think for the sake of my bladder, perhaps we should take
Alrighty, Sam. So let's continue with this segment. So we're going to talk about Machiavelli, and we have Michael Sugru's 30-minute video on it. And I mean, damn, his thesis on Machiavelli was just so clear cut. Like, you know, his understanding and what point he makes about him was just so easy and simple to understand. I mean, I was able to just follow him. So, I mean, I know a little bit of Machiavelli, so maybe that helps. But he was just so clear cut.
No, I was just gonna say his thesis. It's just he gets Machiavelli. He's one of the very few people who like and Machiavelli is one of the Prince is quite simple to read. I mean, I guess it's been adapted for modern times, but it's not very long to read. So you know he's so. You sent me the Machiavelli video and you sent the new one because he has an old version.
Yeah.
And there are very interesting parallels between the two.
Interesting. I haven't watched the old one in a while. I watched the new one recently.
So what did you think of it besides? What did you think of the Seguro's, I guess, argument? And what did you think of Machiavelli himself?
Yeah, no, I mean it's interesting. So I mean, what he says is, so Machiavelli is the kind of politician that you always say the left needs, right? Says
Yes.
someone who will do whatever is needed to get your objective, to reach your objectives, including, backstabbing against people and coming after them. But what is kind of interesting is that, Michael Sugar talks about, well, Machiavelli talked so openly about him willing to do anything to get his way that eventually nobody could trust them, because they were like, okay, so if I get this guy to work for me, what stands in his way? Him to then kill me, which kind of is his downfall, I guess, and the way he puts it. So
Yeah, the most.
I guess it was brilliant. I guess Machiavelli perhaps took it too far and didn't think at some point I might have to like show why I would, be loyal to someone, or I would have their back.
I think that's. Sorry, you paused for a second. What did you say?
No, that was it. No, I was done. Can you hear me?
Oh,
Hello, hello, hello,
yeah.
hello.
Seems so. Yeah, it was paused, but then all of it came in 1 second.
Okay.
But all right. Sorry, I was gonna say, yeah, I think that's how I justify me being so open about exactly this, like exactly the shit Machiavelli says. I like lifted everything I know from him. So justification, I guess, is in sometimes the word, I guess in his case, Italy was so fragmented that somebody needs to tell people, come on, we need an asshole to seriously sort this out. And I feel like we are globally, perhaps at that stage, perhaps we can have a global Caesar of some kind, sort of, I'm looking at you, deep state, it's time for you to prove yourself. But what have you been doing, deep state, for it's been ridiculous last couple of years. But but Machiavelli, yeah, I love how he puts it in the historical context and geographical context. That he was in Italy in a fragmented society, but he was access to legacy of Rome, and I think, yeah, he came out with one of the more honest works of political theory. What I wanted to highlight to you was that, we talk about realist, the school of international theory, and Mearsheimer and Walt and all that. That is school founded by E.H. Carr before it got fucked by these people. When E.H., they basically, they draw their sort of medieval, I suppose, academic roots from Machiavelli. The more ancient one, they take it from Thucydides, the guy who wrote about the Greek civil wars. The not Herodotus, the other sort of historian of Greece. And what I loved about Michael Segru, because this nobody mentions so much about the Machiavelli, is how anti-Platonic Machiavelli's philosophy is. I think Machiavelli never even mentions Plato. He does mention he read Cyrosopedia, which is the book by Xenophon, the other guy who was at Socrates. He wasn't at there. He wrote about the Socrates' trial. Xenophon, the guy who writes Cyrosopedia, which is based on the life of Cyrus, and famous. It's like a famous book. So Machiavelli comes from an exact, basically opposite philosophical or political science, whatever tradition that Plato, all these fuckers come from, basically. All the fuckers from Plato onwards. And I would put Abrahamic religions as a Platonic, basically. I would describe all Abrahamic religions are basically a Platonic sort of a ripoff. It's a Platonic sort of sect. That's what it is. So yeah, personally, I loved it so much because it was like, yes, I feel like, vindicated. Yeah. And I think this is the real, like, this is how philosophy should be done, or social sciences. I'm not interested in ethics. Even Kant, is like creating this new form of ethics based on human reason, as if human reason could ever, like, as if there is such a thing as human reason. I mean, for fuck's sake, just grow up, just so yeah, I think, yeah, that's the way to go.
Yeah,
I
ethics
don't know what
is such a big
have I
concern.
convinced you?
You know, ethics is just such a big concern for everyone for a lot of people on the left, I should say, and others too. And that's why anytime a lot of times, even on our podcast, we're unable to just make a quote unquote like descriptive comment, or like, put something forward that's just being descriptive, because people think that, okay, so you must agree with this on a moral level, right? Which is not necessarily what you're saying or you think is the right thing or should
No,
be
it's good for
done. It's just, yeah, it's just you're kind of describing what it's like or what needs to happen if you want to get to a certain point, or what's like the only option that is available, because you can't do whatever you want in life. There are usually some
path of least
solutions that are
resistance.
more achievable. Yeah. But
That's
so what
what
are
it is, yeah.
are there any like differences between the two videos? So just maybe show the video, just show them for a split second so people see
Oh,
them.
not differences, interesting similarities.
Oh, okay,
He
yeah.
uses the same example of Machiavelli, which, by the way, Machiavelli's book Prince, at least, is not a long one.
Yeah, exactly.
But he mentions, another thing I also wanted to mention about Machiavelli, just like every awesome person in the world, comedic writer, wrote sex comedies of all, just like, just all great people are,
Yeah.
jokesters. But he uses the same example of the city where a ruler conquers a city, he puts in a very bad governor
that's
that
crazy.
asks him to kill and be very harsh, and then comes into the town and punishes him. I mean, you say crazy, it sounded very reasonable to me. I was like, yes, that's it. Just please, somebody do that. Like for once, Obama, for example. Obama could have done that so many times, but nobody does that. Everybody just wants to be famous now. But he gives that same example. He gives the same. It's almost like it's so funny because, as you said, we need more categories for public speaking, because it's so much like a stand-up comedy, because he almost word for word gives the same sort of a speech about the fact that, well, if somebody wrote a book like this and gave it to you as a gift, would you want them in your sort of surroundings?
Like, what are you trying to say?
Yeah, it feels like you're trying to say you gotta kill me. And it's so funny because it's a bit, and he makes it so like it's not maybe funny, laugh out loud funny, but you want to. I would watch him do this sort of lectures like forever. Like I would pay for life. I would definitely.
No, he has an amazing
go to bar
ability.
And drink. He's amazing. Just
man, I wouldn't be super like, last time I joked, I said like, he's the kind of guy who of course knows every single literature book and everything. Like I'm pretty sure he can borderline like recite just by heart some like big literature books.
Yeah.
He can just.
I'm sure certain segments of like Moby Dick or something like.
Yeah, exactly. He would have read that like 59 times since the age of 2.
And it's just, especially in this. I mean, in these ones, it's very good too.
Yeah, no, those lectures I've never.
Oh my God! In this one, in the old one, he refers Art of the Deal by Donald Trump. He says, "Oh, there's a recently Donald Trump wrote a book called Art of the Deal. You should call this book, the Machiavelli book, Art of Double Crossing."
Man, I don't think. No, I was just gonna say, I don't think I've ever come across either in real life or on YouTube someone who has his presentation ability on a topic.
No, man,
unmatched.
Come on. See, I've been to loads of universities just for lectures, blogs, events.
And some people are good. Now, there are a lot of people.
Oh, there are a lot of people are good.
But this level,
fucking different level.
Yeah,
he's a different. I mean, I just love these. I was gonna say I love this because just the way he nonchalantly walks. Without taking a look at his notes. Just sometimes he goes and takes a look, but then just nonchalantly walks. It's just the mastery he has over the literature. Like he knows it inside and out. It's.
And I must say, I don't think I've watched a video of his where I didn't understand what he was saying.
Yeah. Like sometimes when he's talking about a specific Hegel stuff, it becomes hard. But it's the vocabulary, I suppose. And it's so cool. I have to say, his voice as he got older, though, his voice got cooler. Like his voice now is like his voice. He sounds like what's his name? Simba's dad. In Lion King.
Yeah.
Mufasa. Oh yeah, and then Machiavelli. Oh man. Sorry, we are just at this point just fanboying over. Oh, look at him walk. Look at how beautiful he is. Just, it was great, man. I loved it. It's just that any video from his is just a legit just joy. 30 minutes of, thing. I wanted to just prove that I've always been a huge fan of Machiavelli. Check this book out.
Okay.
What kind of book do you think it is?
Philosophy book. I mean, political philosophy book.
Of what kind?
The one that goes from the Greeks until, and covers the Europeans as well. No, Greeks and then the
it's one of those bullshit.
Lads.
Yeah, it's exactly.
I wouldn't do bullshit.
Called... Well, I read it when I was I had this. Where is it published? Does it say? Oh, it's published 5 years after my birth. So but it is. I love this book. I read this couple of chapters from this book like hundreds of times. It's called the Jovdan. Forever, what was it? Like Forever Adventures in Philosophy, or Adventures that Remain Forever in Philosophy, or something. And then it has a chapter, Henry Thomas and Donnelly Thomas. It has a chapter on Dana Lee. Oh, sorry, I just saw the English thing. Then it has a chapter on like each like philosopher and stuff. It starts with Socrates, then Plato, and as you can see, there are 4 chapters. Can you see? I ticked them.
Yeah.
Yeah. These were the 4 chapters that I would focus. Oh, there is 2 that used to be at some point were my favorite. They had the tick, but then the tick was crossed.
Oh,
they are not my favorites anymore.
Unbelievable.
William James and John Dewey. I don't like you. It's no more. No more. I don't know what was going through my head. But the 4 people who I put ticks, 2 were the people who I didn't. Like they were my enemies. One was Socrates, then Aristotle. Sorry, Plato, Aristotle, the 2 I don't like. And then the 2 I really like, Machiavelli and Francis Bacon. And yeah, man, it's kind of bullshit book. I reread it recently. It's very generalized, Wikipedia style type thing. But it was a good book. I have to say, it did interest me in philosophy. I have had it for years. And thank you, Henry and Donnelly Thomas. Yeah. Finally, my love for Machiavelli paid off. Did you see the part about what's it called? Did you hear the part about Shakespeare? Just before going to our artist stuff.
No, I don't think so. Well, maybe mention again. Maybe I did.
Well, he mentions that Machiavelli is a huge influence on Shakespeare. And a lot of Shakespeare villains are basically like.
I see. Yeah, I vaguely recall him saying that. But since I know so little about Shakespeare, I guess it didn't stick.
All right. But he mentions a thing, King Lear, Edmund. He mentions Edmund's solitude. Do you know about that? No.
All I know about Shakespeare is The Merchant of Venice, Usury, and Leonardo, that movie that Leonardo played.
Which
Romeo and Juliet.
Romeo and Juliet.
That's my and Shakespeare was English, and he writes like in funny ways. I mean that's the extent of my knowledge. A bit.
Not funny, old. Actually, it wasn't funny at the time. Yeah, it wasn't at the time. It wasn't.
That's the extent of my Shakespeare knowledge.
No, I know. But do you know King Lear's general story or stuff? Well, it's very good. It has some of the best lines in Shakespeare, but I'm not a big fan of the play itself, actually. But he references a speech in that. So you have a bad guy who's a bastard, and he wants to take over his father's, I guess, inheritance, right? And in that, he gives a speech, which is really, really good. And I used to, because we did theater back in the days, as I was a loser, as you pointed out.
Why do you keep on
Although-
saying we? Like, okay, so you and some like other classmates.
Yes, that's what I meant.
So you should
Not
say
we.
I.
Oh, yes, I didn't mean to. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to implicate you in this disgusting behavior we were engaging on. But yes, me and some other losers were doing theater. And I used to actually I did memorize that speech.
Oh yeah,
and
really?
I love that speech. So I'm gonna give it to you. I did practice it, and I have it like on the side in case if I forget. But it's a great speech, and I think this is a speech of a Machiavellian character. So you can
Go ahead.
see
Let me see if I understand
what they mean. So it's I'm gonna anyway. So thou nature art my goddess, to thy law my services are bound. Wherefore should I stand in the plague of custom and permit the curiosity of nations to deprive me? For I am some 12 or 14 moonshines lag of a brother. Why, bastard? Wherefore base? When my dimensions are as well compact, my mind as generous, my shape as true as honest Madame Zissou, why brand they us with base? With baseness, bastardly, base, base? Who in the lustiest stealth of nature take more composition and fierce quality than doth within a dull, stale, tired bed, creating a whole tribe of fop between sleep and wake? Well then, legitimate Edgar, I must have fear land. Our father's love is to the bastard Edmund. As to the legitimate, fine word, legitimate. Well, my legitimate, if this letter speed and my invention thrive, Edmund the base shall top the legitimate. I grow, I prosper. Not even gods stand up for bastards. Finish.
Okay, that was a really good delivery.
Good. Did you get the feeling?
Was he trying
get how
something to
much
say like, oh, you can be as much as a good person as you want, but you'll get toppled or something? I don't know. That's just what I got. I don't
What?
know.
No, come on. No, what? No. Oh.
How am I supposed to understand that?
It was like, come on, this is one of like Shakespeare's easiest, probably like solid. But no, he's got a brother or legitimate Edgar, and he's trying to take over his. He says, "Our father's love is to the bastard Edmund, me, like I'm Edmund, right?" And so in the end, so he says, "I am slave to my nature. Thou, nature, art my goddess. To thy law, my services are bound. Wherefore should I stand in the plague of custom and permit the curiosity of nations to deprive me, as in they're gonna take like my inheritance away because of the customs of the time."
Yeah.
And then because I'm a bastard, well, why? Because bastards are base. When my dimensions, my body is as good, my mind is as good, my shape is as good. And then he's talking to Edgar and he's telling him, I must have our father's land because, well, his love is with me, first of all. And then, that. I thought I was hoping my delivery does the job.
No, it's not you, it's me.
It's not you. No, it's definitely me. I guess now I get
No,
it.
I'm telling you, I swear.
No, but it is one of my favorites because of its simplicity. I would say it's more understandable than most of Shakespeare.
Yeah, I believe you there. Alrighty, sorry about that. Technical difficulties at the very end here, and we still can see screen share, whatever. But yes, Sam, I was just saying such uninformative things in some of his tweets. So maybe I'm generalizing and I picked on those that are like that. That was just like, he just stating like the most basic things. Like, I don't know, Lula is president now. 4 years ago, he was in just extremely like I don't know. Maybe some people go to find that kind of stuff on Glenn's thing. Maybe it's
Did you?
interest. Oh, there you go.
Did you used to go? Did you used to go on Twitter before our show or whatever?
Sometimes I would just like take a look and things like that. But I mean, I was never
No,
active
I'm
or
just
anything.
saying that's always been the
Yeah.
case. It's not a new thing.
Yeah.
You know,
No.
after I suggest everybody go take a look at the articles and tweets following Edward Snowden's leak and the level of hyperbole, the level of just mundane things that was going, like, you know, that's how you promote, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I would say I saw, have you seen Glenn keeps trying to make you go, like, he keeps trying to make Rumble happen. And I'm sorry to tell him that it's not going to happen. And
Rumble should be a bit more friendly if they want to invite so many people over. You can't even see comments before signing in or something. Like, I mean, come on, we're like at least first offer something, like, you know,
or
offer the full
friendliness.
experience.
Or something. No, like, so, but then he does these videos, and have you seen his new set?
Yeah.
He's I don't know, he's not great at presenting, I have to say. He's very awkward way of standing and, you know, all that. But, you know,
he's good conversation,
just
though.
like when it gets good.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's great at conversation. But he cuts it at just when it's gonna get good. Like, oh, I have this New York Post reporter. I don't give a shit, Glenn. You were on YouTube. I would click on you. I was gonna go to Rumble. Like, you know,
I know.
Fuck. Yeah. Anyways.
But okay,
but
all right.
Do you know? Wait a minute. Just to be clear, is Lula a communist or not? Do we get the answer to that?
No, he says no, which is, of course, like, it's a dumb question. I mean, I don't know what he is in his head, but his policies or what he tries to do, I don't think he can classify him as a communist whatsoever.
It's a socialist. Barely.
And I mean, look I mean, it's full of things like this great. Twitter, which is completely fine. Great. Do as you wish. But then don't talk up as if Twitter is like, you know, the Supreme Court, or like, you know, I mean, it's just like, without it, how would we do? How would we live? You know what I mean? If there weren't hospitals,
recent, right?
How would people be alive? Yeah, this is from yesterday or the day before.
Wow. Just let the I mean, I know Twitter. I agree with you on Twitter stuff, but let the currentness of this individual sink in. Like,
and the way he comments, phenomenal show so far, as if it's like very controversial. Like, everybody has hated it, but Kyle took a look and he's like, I must say, guys.
and as if he has like any, like, you know, like I don't know, like experience of like media journalism or critique. Phenomenal. The way the politics is really displayed is really realistic, you know. I know, because
or as if it's like such an old show that, like, you know, he's watching it now and is like, wow, I can't believe it's still relevant, or like it still comes across as so good, you know. It's just have you heard other people talk of Game of Thrones? Kyle, like, I haven't watched it, but I mean,
let me tell you, Camille, let me tell you, Bruce Lee, phenomenal kung fu.
You know, yeah, I was like, who disagrees with you?
Clint Eastwood, phenomenal spaghetti western.
Well, I'm glad he found Crystal.
Do you think he found Crystal or Crystal found him?
They found each other.
You know, she had like 4 or 5 kids. She thought, I had another. This one. I'll take this one under my wing.
Jesus Christ. But okay, all right. On that note, thank you for watching. Please leave all your comments, questions, criticisms down below. We'll make sure to get to them. If not, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you in our next video. Thank you.